Hey, Pate, you watching football?
It's a whole channel dedicated to nothing but fantasy.
Fantasy. I searched the world over and thought I found a W. You met another and you were gone.
And welcome everyone to In Your Face, Season 3, Week 3 Hangover. And a Week 4 preview. We're here to give you a little bit about something and a whole lot about nothing. What better way to waste your time?
Those auctioneer classes really paying off, aren't they?
Thank you. We're your number 17 fantasy football show.
That's my lucky number.
And your number 77th fantasy football players.
Hey.
We all lost this week.
Oh no! We suck again!
A lot of names that nobody's ever heard of scored touchdowns this week.
Such as?
Jonathan Williams. Bree throws it. Lyle the fullback for the touchdown.
And
Hey, didn't that QB for Buffalo actually score one?
9 from inside the 10. As Allen looks, takes off. He can run with it.
QBs for Buffalo scored a couple of them this week.
And we can't forget about
End zone throw for Grant. He has his hands on it. Did he keep his feet in? Yes! Touchdown, Colts!
And then there's that one guy that everybody's gonna go after just because of
One good week.
Easy first down. Vance McDonald, and he keeps his footing. Can he get there? 75-yard touchdown.
You can pretty much drop any Tennessee player right now. I mean that was an offensive showdown, wasn't it?
I'm keeping kicker. Some people that impressed me this past week, Baker Mayfield.
Yes. Baker Mayfield played really well.
Fire.
Fitzmagic looked like it was almost about to be put out, but almost came back for the comeback victory this week.
That's true. Yeah.
Somebody finally told him it was time to wave his wand at halftime.
Tough time.
Patrick Mahomes still on fire.
Patrick Mahomes.
Ben Roethlisberger played well on the road.
Mahomes actually had a nice quiet week with only 3 touchdowns.
Mahomes did well. But isn't that how we thought of Dak Prescott in his first year? Devastating loss in San Francisco this past week. Let's give a moment of silence for
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G and his ACL.
And okay. So, what are we going to do there?
We got a few players coming back from injuries, most likely this week. Ajayi coming back.
Ajayi
should
is
be
coming
back.
Marlon Mack.
Marlon Mack should be back. Carson Wentz is back.
Carson Wentz is back.
Alshon Jeffrey should be back.
Alshon Jeffrey. Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston coming back, but I think they're still going to roll with Fitzpatrick.
Speaking of bounce back, when I mentioned Christian McCaffrey scored a touchdown, I think he did more than make up for that. However, I forgot that, at least on one occasion, he probably should have got it. I wasn't thinking about who his quarterback was.
Yeah.
He's gonna keep some.
Cam's vulturing.
Yeah, he's
touchdowns.
vulturing touchdowns. Kind of makes me sick.
Yeah, but I'll allow it considering he's still got like 190 yards.
Well, sure, 190 yards, but let that kid have some glory.
Yeah, exactly.
My God.
Exactly. One touchdown.
Let the kid have some glory, Cam.
One touchdown.
Come on.
Your leading running back could help some guy win his fantasy football game.
I actually have a good problem, okay? I like like my team. I like my starters. I'm in a keeper league, so I'm actually kind of looking at the waiver wire, not for immediate starters, but for somebody that maybe could be a potential keeper for me for next year. I got my running backs already taken care of in that regard, so I'm looking at young, up-and-coming wide receivers that'll be a good keeper for next year. So I am looking at Calvin Ridley as a potential person to pick up on the waiver wire. The problem I have is I'm not sure who I need to give up. So I've got these other two guys that fit that category, and I'm wondering which of these three would you say is the best, at this point, week 3, potential keeper for next year. So besides Calvin Ridley, I have Keenan Cole with the Jags, and I also have Antonio Callaway with the Browns. So these guys are just sitting on my bench, but I'm looking at, do I give up Cole or give up Callaway and trying to get Ridley?
Well, first of all, this is only a 15-minute show, so we're already out of time. See you next time. That's a hard one.
It really is, because I like Cole, I like Callaway, I also like D.D. Westbrook. It's no secret that I like Ridley.
I think what you're looking at there is, I think Callaway's future is probably has the most promising to being a number 1.
If you're looking for somebody in a keeper situation,
I'm looking at long.
It's gotta go. You gotta go Ridley, in my opinion.
Okay, and that's what he's looking at. But who does he drop? That was his question.
I would drop Cole.
You would drop Cole?
I would drop Cole.
I dropped the Jacksonville.
Yeah. Just drop them both. Pick up Tyler Boyd. Now let's go take another call.
Matt Ryan or Deshaun Watson, even to the Jimmy Garoppolo order, doesn't have a backup. He'd rather go with Eli Manning. But the question that I have is, what is your take on, since I got those two good quarterbacks, I'm playing a guy who has Julio Jones. He's the top guy in the league. He's 3-0. Do I automatically go with Matt Ryan just to balance it out? Do I look at the matchups? Like, what do you look at in terms of if you're playing a guy with a stud receiver from the same team as your quarterback?
Let me tell you from experience with the Matt Ryan versus a wide receiver, it doesn't always work. Of course, Julio, like I said, got covered a lot by the New Orleans defenders, which let Calvin Ridley look like a star.
I'm not opposed to the strategy of matching quarterback with the receiver on the other team. Not like I said, not necessarily opposed to it, but I think just sheer matchups.
I like the strategy approach, but I think it's definitely, you got to look at the matchups of who that team is playing, and you got to look at who you're playing. Being that you said you're playing the guy that's the top in your league and he's 3-0, that calls for desperate measures. I may want to try to take away as much as I can from him.
Yeah.
But I would also look at who else you have, if it looks like he's just going to totally blow you out of the water, then yeah. But if you look like you've got an upper hand other than that one spot there, then maybe you should just go with a better quarterback. So Sunday, live tweeting from these guys. And you can follow the fun and excitement at InYourFaceTube on Twitter. Hashtag IYF updates.
See, there's one now.
Oh, we've got it.
You got a tweet.
Well, with all that being said, if you lost this week too,
but are expecting a bounce back week
and hoping to maybe get your first win,
subscribe below. We'll try to make sure
one of those happens.
We'll try to make sure one of us wins next week so we can cheer you up.
In the meantime, just remember, we did win last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sound right there means that we're out of time. Apologies to Adam the Woo. We'll get to you next week. For everybody else, we'll see you next time.
All right, Tony was so damn hungover that I had to take over the fantasy sleeper for this week, and quite frankly, there's only one. Calvin Ridley of the Atlanta Falcons. And you know why? Because he's only owned in 41% of all leagues. Now, why Calvin Ridley, you ask? Well, if the 3 touchdowns last week didn't do enough for you, how about the 1 touchdown he got the week before? He's actually starting to break out as one of Matt Ryan's favorite targets because, quite frankly, his other favorite target, Julio Jones, is getting a lot of attention. But Calvin's getting all the media spotlight. He's getting all the glory. So, you want a good flex? You want a good fill-in for your bye week? Calvin Ridley. It's done. Tony warned us. Tony's right. Some days I hate to admit it, but he's right. And that's your fantasy sleeper for the week.